The morning sun spilled through the gauzy curtains of the guest house, casting a golden glow across Emma Thompson's ivory wedding gown. It hung on a wooden hanger, its lace bodice shimmering like a promise, its long train pooling on the hardwood floor like a cascade of dreams. Emma, just 23, stood before the full-length mirror, her auburn hair loose around her shoulders, her green eyes bright with a mix of nerves and joy. Today was the day, July 19, 2025, the day she'd marry Ryan Carter, the man who'd stolen her heart 3 years ago under the cherry blossoms at NYU. She traced the gown's neckline with trembling fingers, imagining the moment she'd walk down the aisle in a rustic barn in upstate New York, surrounded by wildflower fields and the people she loved most. You're gonna make everyone cry in that dress," Olivia Bennett said, her voice warm as she swept into the room, a makeup bag slung over her shoulder. Olivia, Emma's best friend and maid of honor, had been her rock since freshman year, her dark curls and quick wit a constant in Emma's life. She set the bag on the vanity, her hazel eyes sparkling. "Ryan's gonna lose it when he sees you." Emma laughed, a nervous bubble escaping her lips. "I hope so. I keep pinching myself, Liv. Is this real?" She twirled, her silk robe swishing, and caught her reflection again. Her cheeks flushed, a rosy glow against her pale skin. She'd spent months planning this day, every detail, from the mason jar centerpieces to the string quartet playing her favorite Ed Sheeran song. The barn, a weathered beauty with exposed beams and fairy lights, felt like it had been plucked from her Pinterest board. It was perfect, or so she thought. Olivia grinned, pulling out a foundation brush. "Oh, it's real, all right. Now sit, bride. We've got 2 hours to make you look like a goddess." She guided Emma to a cushioned chair, her touch gentle but firm. As Olivia blended concealer under Emma's eyes, the room filled with the soft hum of anticipation. Outside, birds chirped, and the distant clatter of caterers setting up in the barn drifted through the open window. Emma closed her eyes, letting the moment sink in. "Do you think Ryan's nervous?" Emma asked, her voice soft. "He was so calm at the rehearsal dinner last night, but I know he gets quiet when he's freaking out." Olivia paused, her brush hovering. "Ryan? Nervous? Nah, he's probably just practicing his vows in front of Ethan, trying not to trip over his words." She chuckled, but her eyes flickered with something Emma couldn't quite read. Hesitation, maybe? Emma brushed it off. Olivia had been up late organizing, probably just tired. The guest house door swung open and Chloe Carter breezed in, her blonde hair pulled into a sleek ponytail, her navy dress hugging her athletic frame. At 28, Ryan's older sister was a force, charismatic, organized, the kind of person who could plan a wedding blindfolded. She'd been Emma's lifeline through the chaos of vendor calls and seating charts, offering advice with a smile that lit up rooms. Emma adored her, calling her the sister she'd never had. "Morning, bride," Chloe said, her voice bright but her smile tight, like it didn't quite reach her blue eyes. She carried a tray of coffee cups, the aroma of hazelnut mingling with the floral scent of Emma's perfume. "Thought you could use some caffeine before the chaos." "Olivia, you're working miracles already." Emma beamed, taking a cup. "Chloe, you're a saint. I don't know how I'd have survived without you. Remember the cake tasting? You saved us from that awful coconut disaster." Chloe laughed, but it sounded forced, a sharp note in the morning's warmth. "Anything for you and Ryan," she said, setting the tray down. She adjusted a hairpin in Emma's hair, her fingers lingering a moment too long. "You're gonna be the perfect bride, Emma. Perfect." The word hung heavy and Emma frowned, catching a shadow in Chloe's expression. Before she could ask, Chloe turned away, checking her phone with a quick glance. "Everything okay with the setup?" Emma asked, sipping her coffee. The barn was a 10-minute walk from the guest house, nestled in a valley of rolling hills. Emma had fallen in love with its rustic charm. Wooden beams, wide windows, a loft perfect for dancing. Chloe had scouted it, insisting it was so Emma. "Perfect," Chloe echoed, her eyes on her phone. "Florist is arranging the wildflowers, and the quartet's setting up. Don't worry, I've got it under control." She flashed another smile, but it wobbled and Emma's stomach twisted. Was Chloe stressed? She'd been so steady these past months, but today she seemed off. Olivia shot Chloe a look, her brow furrowing, but she quickly masked it, turning to Emma. "Okay, let's get that hair up. Beachy waves or elegant updo?" "Updo," Emma said, grateful for the distraction. Soft, with those little braids you practiced. As Olivia worked, weaving strands into a delicate chignon, Emma's thoughts drifted to Ryan. She pictured him in his navy suit, his brown eyes crinkling as he smiled. They'd met in a literature class, bonding over dog-eared copies of The Great Gatsby. He'd asked her out with a nervous grin, leaving a daisy on her desk with a note. Coffee? I'm no Gatsby, but I'd like to know you. 3 years later, he proposed under a cherry blossom tree, petals falling like confetti. Emma's heart swelled at the memory. Earth to Emma, Olivia teased, securing a braid. You're daydreaming about Ryan again, aren't you? Guilty, Emma said, blushing. I can't believe it's happening. Me married. To Ryan. Chloe, still by the window, stiffened, her fingers pausing on her phone. You two are the fairy tale, aren't you? She said, her tone light but edged with something sharp. Emma blinked, unsure if she'd imagined it. Chloe's phone buzzed and she stepped outside, murmuring, "Be right back." Emma exchanged a glance with Olivia. Is she okay? She seems tense. Olivia hesitated, tucking a curl behind Emma's ear. Chloe's probably just juggling a million things. You know how she is, control freak extraordinaire. She forced a laugh, but her eyes darted to the door. Emma nodded, pushing down her unease. Chloe had been her rock. A little stress was normal, right? The previous night's rehearsal dinner replayed in Emma's mind as Olivia worked. The barn's loft had been transformed into a cozy haven, with long tables draped in burlap runners, candles flickering in mason jars. Guests, family, college friends, Ryan's co-workers, had filled the space with laughter and clinking glasses. Ryan had stood, his hand warm in Emma's, toasting to their future. To Emma, he'd said, his voice thick, who makes every day brighter than I deserve. The room had erupted in cheers and Emma's heart had soared, her fingers tracing the diamond on her ring finger. Chloe's speech had followed, brief and oddly clipped. To Ryan and Emma, she'd said, raising her glass, may you find what you're looking for. The words had felt strange, almost cryptic, but Emma had brushed it off, caught up in the moment. She danced with Ryan under the loft's fairy lights, his arms steady around her, the world fading to just them. I love you, Em, he'd whispered, his breath warm against her ear. Forever. Sarah Davis, Emma's 22-year-old cousin, had been quieter than usual, her brown eyes flicking to Chloe throughout the night. Sarah, a graphic design student with a knack for noticing details, had caught Chloe slipping outside to take a call, her voice hushed but urgent. Sarah hadn't said anything, but her unease lingered, a shadow Emma hadn't noticed in her bliss. Ethan Parker, Ryan's best man, had also seemed distracted, his usual charm subdued. He'd watched Chloe closely, his jaw tight when she returned from her call, her smile too bright. Ethan, a software engineer with a quick laugh and loyal heart, had known Ryan since high school. He'd pulled Ryan aside at one point, murmuring something Emma couldn't hear. Ryan had nodded, clapping Ethan's shoulder, but his smile had faltered. Emma, swaying to the music, hadn't thought much of it then. Now in the guest house, the memory nagged at her. Chloe's resentment had been simmering for months, though Emma had no clue. In a Manhattan cafe a month earlier, Chloe had met Mia Rodriguez, Ryan's ex-girlfriend from college. Mia, 24, was a rising Instagram influencer, her feed a glossy parade of rooftop parties and designer dresses. Her dark hair and sharp cheekbones turned heads, but it was her lingering hold on Ryan that Chloe had latched onto. Over lattes, Chloe had poured out her frustrations. Emma's perfect life, her effortless charm, the way Ryan seemed to orbit her. She's not right for him, Chloe had said, her voice low. He's settling, Mia. You know he loved you more. Mia's eyes had gleamed, her own heart still bruised from losing Ryan. They dated for 2 years, a passionate, messy romance that ended when Ryan met Emma. Mia had never moved on, her posts laced with subtle jabs. A throwback photo with Ryan. A cryptic caption about lost love. Chloe's words were a spark to Mia's smoldering hope. He's been texting me, Mia lied, testing the waters. Just friendly stuff, but maybe he's not over me. Chloe had leaned forward, her lawyer's mind calculating. Then show him what he's missing. Come to the wedding. Remind him. She'd suggested Mia crash the reception, stir up old feelings, maybe even confront Emma. It wasn't just jealousy. Chloe's own engagement had crumbled 2 years ago, leaving her bitter. Her fiancé had cheated, and the wound had festered, twisting her view of love. Emma's fairy tale felt like a mockery, and Mia was her weapon to shatter it. Mia had agreed, her smile sharp. "I'll be there. Ryan deserves better than her." They'd planned it carefully. Chloe would arrange a moment for Mia to run into Ryan, maybe at the bar, maybe during the dance. Chloe would plant doubts, nudge Ryan toward nostalgia. It was a gamble, but Chloe believed she was saving her brother from a mistake. Back in the guest house, the morning ticked closer to the ceremony. Emma slipped into her gown, the lace cool against her skin. Olivia zipped it up, her hand steady but her eyes distant. "You're a vision," she said, stepping back. Emma turned to the mirror, her breath catching. The gown hugged her curves, the train fanning out like a whisper of forever. She felt like a princess, but the unease from Chloe's behavior lingered. Lila Thompson, Emma's mother, entered, her eyes misty. A petite woman with gray-streaked auburn hair. Lila had raised Emma alone after her own fiancé's betrayal decades ago. "Oh, sweetheart," she said, hugging Emma. "You're everything I dreamed you'd be today." Her voice cracked and Emma squeezed her hand, grateful for her strength. Chloe returned, her phone now tucked away. "Guests are arriving," she said, her tone brisk. "Ryan's in the groom's suite, looking dapper. You ready, Emma?" Her smile was back, but it felt like a mask, her eyes darting to Olivia, who avoided her gaze. "Yeah," Emma said, her voice wavering. She pushed down her doubts, focusing on Ryan. She pictured his smile, his vows, the life they'd built. The barn awaited, its doors open to a sea of wildflowers, the quartet tuning their strings. Guests milled outside, their chatter a soft hum. Ethan was with Ryan, probably joking to ease his nerves. Sarah lingered near the barn, her phone in hand, her expression troubled. Emma's phone buzzed on the vanity. She glanced at it, expecting a sweet text from Ryan. Instead, it was an email from an unknown sender. The subject blank. Her heart thudded as she opened it. "Look at Chloe's Instagram DMs. You deserve the truth." Her breath caught, the words blurring. Olivia, noticing her stillness, leaned over. "Em? What's wrong?" Emma shook her head, her fingers trembling. "It's nothing. Just spam probably." But her pulse raced. Why Chloe's DMs? Who sent this? She glanced at Chloe, who was adjusting a bouquet, oblivious. Emma's gut screamed to ignore it, to focus on her day, but curiosity clawed at her. She needed to know. "I'll be right back," Emma said, her voice tight. She slipped out, her robe trailing, and headed to the barn's groom's suite, where Chloe had left her phone during a decor check. The suite was empty, Ryan and Ethan likely outside. Chloe's phone sat on a table, its screen dark. Emma's hand shook as she picked it up. No passcode, a careless habit. She opened Instagram, her heart pounding like a drum. The DMs loaded and Emma's world tilted. Messages from Chloe to Mia Rodriguez, Ryan's ex, filled the screen. "He's wavering. Show up tonight." "Emma won't know," Chloe had written yesterday. Another. "Met him at the bar last week. He's not over you." Attached were photos. Ryan and Mia at a dimly lit bar. His hand on her arm, her smile too close. The date was a week ago when Ryan had said he was at a work event. Emma's knees buckled, her vision swimming with tears. Chloe, her trusted sister-in-law, had been scheming with Mia to ruin her wedding. And Ryan, had he betrayed her too? She clutched the phone, her gowns lay suddenly heavy, her dreams unraveling like a pulled thread. The barn's fairy lights twinkled outside, mocking her. What was she supposed to do now? Emma Thompson stood frozen in the groom's suite of the upstate New York barn, Chloe's phone trembling in her hands. The Instagram DMs glowed on the screen, each word a fresh wound. "He's wavering. Show up tonight. Emma won't know." The photos of Ryan with Mia Rodriguez at a bar last week, his hand on her arm, her smile too intimate, burned into Emma's mind. Her ivory gown, once a symbol of forever, felt like a shroud, its lace heavy against her skin. Tears pricked her eyes, but she blinked them back, her heart a storm of betrayal and disbelief. Chloe, her sister-in-law-to-be, her confidant, had orchestrated this. And Ryan, her Ryan, might have played a part. The barn's wooden walls creaked softly, the distant hum of the string quartet filtering through the open window. Guests were arriving. their laughter a cruel contrast to the chaos in Emma's chest. The wildflower fields outside shimmered under the July sun, mocking the fairy tale she believed in just an hour ago. She clutched the phone tighter, her auburn hair slipping from its chignon, a single braid unraveling like her dreams. How could Chloe do this? How could Ryan let Mia back into his life? The suite door creaked open and Olivia Bennett, Emma's maid of honor, stepped in, her dark curls bouncing. "Em, you okay? You've been gone 10 minutes and, oh God, what's wrong?" Olivia's hazel eyes widened, catching Emma's tear-streaked face. She rushed over, her navy bridesmaid dress rustling, and gently took the phone. Her breath hitched as she scrolled through the DMs. "Chloe? And Mia? That's Ryan's ex, isn't it? What the hell is this?" Emma's voice cracked. "Chloe's been planning with Mia to ruin the wedding. She thinks Ryan's still in love with her. And these pictures." She gestured at the phone, her hands shaking. "Ryan met Mia last week. He told me it was a work event." Olivia's jaw tightened, her fingers gripping the phone. "This is insane. Chloe's been your biggest cheerleader, cake tastings, venue scouting, all of it. Why would she do this?" She paused, her eyes softening. "And Ryan? And we need to talk to him. Now." Emma nodded, her throat tight. She wanted to scream, to run, to tear off the gown and disappear into the wildflowers. But she needed answers. "Where's Chloe?" she asked, her voice low, dangerous. "I need to hear it from her." Olivia hesitated, then nodded. "She's in the bridal suite, fussing over the bouquets. Let's go." She took Emma's hand, her touch grounding, and led her through the barn's back hallway, past crates of wine and folded chairs. The scent of lavender and cedar filled the air, a cruel reminder of the wedding's beauty. Emma's heart pounded, each step heavier, her gown's train catching on the rough floor. They found Chloe in the bridal suite, arranging wildflowers in a mason jar, her blonde ponytail swaying as she hummed softly. The room was a haven of soft light, with mirrors reflecting Emma's gown and the veil waiting on a stand. Chloe looked up, her blue eyes widening. "Emma, you're in your dress already? You look." She stopped, catching the fury in Emma's gaze, the phone in Olivia's hand. "What's going on?" Emma stepped forward, her voice trembling but steady. "How could you, Chloe?" She snatched the phone from Olivia and held it up, the DMs glaring. "You've been texting Mia, planning to sabotage my wedding. You told her Ryan's wavering, that he's not over her. You set him up at that bar. Why?" Her voice broke, tears spilling over. "I trusted you. I called you my sister." Chloe's face paled, her hands dropping the flowers. Petals scattered on the floor, a soft purple against the wood. "Emma, it's not what it looks like." Her voice wavered, her lawyer's composure cracking. I thought I was helping Ryan." "Helping?" Emma's laugh was bitter, echoing in the small room. "By inviting his ex to ruin our day? By lying to me for months? You planned this, Chloe. You wanted me to fail." She swiped at her tears, smudging her makeup, but she didn't care. The pain was raw, a blade twisting in her chest. Chloe had been her rock, her guide through the chaos of wedding planning. Every smile, every hug now felt like a lie. Olivia stepped between them, her eyes blazing. "Chloe, explain. Now, because this looks like you stabbed Emma in the back." Chloe sank onto a chair, her hands twisting in her lap. "I didn't mean for it to go this far," she whispered. I thought Emma was wrong for Ryan. She's so perfect, so effortless. It felt like she was taking him away, changing him. Mia and Ryan, they had something real back in college. I thought if she showed up, he'd see what he was missing." Her voice cracked and she looked away, shame flickering in her eyes. Emma's heart lurched. "You don't get to decide what's right for Ryan," she said, her voice low. "And you don't get to destroy me because of your own issues. What did I ever do to you?" Before Chloe could answer, the door burst open. Sarah Davis, Emma's cousin, stood there, her brown eyes wide with guilt. Her floral dress was wrinkled, as if she'd been pacing. "Emma, I'm so sorry," she blurted. "I sent the email. I saw Chloe's DMs a few days ago on her phone when she left it at the rehearsal dinner. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't let you marry without knowing." Tears streamed down Sarah's face, her voice shaking. "I should have told you sooner, but I was scared." Emma's anger softened, replaced by a dull ache. Sarah, barely 22, had carried this secret alone. You did the right thing, Emma said, her voice hoarse. She pulled Sarah into a hug, feeling her tremble. Thank you. Chloe stood, her face crumpling. Emma, I'm sorry. I didn't want to hurt you. I got lost in my own head. She reached out, but Emma flinched, stepping back. Don't, Emma said. I need to talk to Ryan. She turned, her gown swishing, and strode out, Olivia and Sarah trailing her. Chloe's apology hung in the air, hollow and useless. The barn's main hall buzzed with arriving guests, their chatter a distant roar. The quartet played a soft melody, and fairy lights twinkled against the wooden beams. Emma's heart raced as she approached the groom's suite again, her mind replaying the bar photos. Ryan with Mia, his hand on her arm, his smile soft. Had he lied to her? Was he wavering like Chloe said? She knocked, her fist shaking. Ethan Parker opened the door, his dark hair tousled, his navy suit half-buttoned. Emma? You're not supposed to. He stopped, seeing her tears. What's wrong? I need Ryan, she said, her voice breaking. Ethan stepped aside and Ryan appeared, his brown eyes warm until they locked on her expression. He looked dashing in his suit, a wildflower boutonniere pinned to his lapel, but the sight only deepened Emma's pain. What's going on? Ryan asked, reaching for her. She stepped back, holding up Chloe's phone. His brow furrowed as he took it, scrolling through the DMs. His face drained of color, his hand dropping to his side. Oh God, Emma. I had no idea Chloe was doing this. Then explain this, Emma said, her voice sharp. She tapped the screen, pulling up the bar photos. You met Mia last week. You told me you were at a work event. Were you lying to me, Ryan? Are you still in love with her? Ryan's eyes widened, panic flashing. No, I swear. It wasn't like that. He ran a hand through his hair, his voice urgent. Chloe asked me to meet her at that bar for a drink, said she needed to talk about the wedding. Mia showed up out of nowhere. I didn't know she'd be there. We talked, yeah, but it was nothing. I told her I'm marrying you, that I love you. His voice cracked and he stepped closer, his hands outstretched. You have to believe me. Emma's heart twisted, torn between love and doubt. She wanted to believe him, to cling to the Ryan who'd proposed under cherry blossoms, who'd whispered forever last night. But the photos, Chloe's words, the anonymous email, they gnawed at her trust. Why didn't you tell me? She asked, tears spilling. You let me think everything was fine. And now I find out from Chloe's phone? Ryan's shoulders slumped, guilt etching his face. I should have told you. I didn't want to worry you before the wedding. It was just one drink, she was trying to reminisce, but I shut it down. I swear. He reached for her again, but she shook her head, stepping back. Ethan, still by the door, cleared his throat. Emma, for what it's worth, Ryan's been a mess about you all week. He's crazy about you. Chloe's been weird, though. I saw her texting someone last night, looking sneaky. I didn't know it was this bad. Emma nodded, her throat tight. She wanted to believe Ryan, but the betrayal Chloe's and maybe his cut too deep. She turned to Olivia, who stood silently, her eyes fierce with loyalty. I need to think, Emma said, her voice barely a whisper. I can't do this right now. Emma retreated to the barn's loft, the same place where she danced with Ryan last night. The space was empty now, the tables cleared, the candles unlit. She sank onto a bench, her gown pooling around her, and buried her face in her hands. The DMs replayed in her mind. Chloe's words a poison. He's wavering. Was Ryan truly hers? Or had Chloe's scheme exposed a truth she'd ignored? She thought of their late-night talks, their shared dreams of a little house in Brooklyn, a dog named Gatsby. Could that all be a lie? Lila Thompson found her, her mother's gentle footsteps echoing on the wooden stairs. Lila's gray-streaked hair was pinned up, her eyes soft with understanding. She sat beside Emma, taking her hand. Sweetheart, what happened? Olivia told me it's bad. Emma poured out the story, the DMs, Chloe's plot, Ryan's bar meeting. Lila listened, her face tightening with each detail. When Emma finished, Lila sighed, her voice steady but heavy. I've been where you are, Emma. Your father, before he left, he betrayed me with someone I trusted. It broke me, but it also taught me something. You deserve someone who chooses you every day without secrets. Emma's tears fell faster, staining her gown. I thought Ryan was that person, she whispered. But Chloe and now Mia. I don't know what to believe. Lila squeezed her hand. You don't have to decide now. Listen to your heart, not just your love for him but your love for yourself. You're stronger than you know. Olivia and Sarah joined them, their presence a quiet strength. Olivia knelt beside Emma, her voice firm. Whatever you choose, Em, we're with you. But Chloe's out there acting like nothing's wrong. And Mia, she's on her way. I heard Chloe on the phone, telling her to come to the reception. Emma's blood ran cold. Mia here at her wedding. The thought was a fresh betrayal. Chloe's plan unfolding even now. She stood, her gown rustling, and wiped her tears. I can't let this happen, she said, her voice hardening. I need to face this. The barn was full now. Guests seated in rows of white chairs, wildflowers lining the aisle. The quartet played Pachelbel's canon, the notes floating like a dream. Emma stood at the back, her veil in place, her heart a battlefield. Ryan waited at the altar, his eyes searching for her, Ethan at his side. Chloe stood with the bridesmaids, her smile forced, her hands twisting her bouquet. Emma took a deep breath, her mother's words echoing. You deserve someone who chooses you. She thought of the gown, the barn, the dreams she'd pinned on this day. But more than that, she thought of herself, the woman she was, the woman she could be. She stepped forward, her heels clicking on the wooden floor, and the music swelled. At the altar, she didn't take Ryan's hand. Instead, she turned to the microphone, her voice trembling but clear. Everyone, I'm sorry, she said, the crowd falling silent. There's not going to be a wedding today. Gasps rippled through the guests, Ryan's face crumpling. I found out someone I trusted, someone close, has been working to tear Ryan and me apart. And I can't marry someone I'm not sure of, not when trust is broken. She didn't name Chloe, but her eyes locked on her and Chloe flinched, stepping back. The crowd murmured, phones already out, capturing the moment. Emma continued, her voice growing stronger. I deserve trust. I deserve truth. And today I'm choosing myself. She turned, her gown catching the light, and walked down the aisle past stunned faces, past Ryan's outstretched hand. Olivia and Sarah followed, their eyes proud. Chloe fled through a side door, her bouquet falling to the floor. Outside, the dusk painted the wildflower fields in shades of gold and purple. Emma kicked off her heels, the grass cool under her feet. Tears stained her gown, but she felt a spark of freedom, a strength she hadn't known she had. Ryan called after her, his voice breaking, but she didn't turn back. The barn, the vows, the dreams, they were gone, but she was still here, and that was enough. The wildflower fields stretched endlessly before the upstate New York barn, their purples and golds bathed in the soft glow of dusk. Emma Thompson stood barefoot in the grass, her ivory wedding gown catching the fading light, its lace hem stained with tears and earth. The weight of her decision, to call off her wedding to Ryan Carter in front of a stunned crowd, pressed against her chest, but beneath the ache, a spark of freedom flickered. She'd walked away from the altar, from Chloe's betrayal, from Ryan's half-truths, choosing herself over a fractured fairy tale. The barn's fairy lights twinkled behind her, a distant reminder of the dream she'd left behind. Olivia Bennett, her maid of honor, and Sarah Davis, her cousin, flanked her, their presence a quiet anchor. Olivia's dark curls were loose now, her navy bridesmaid dress rumpled from the chaos. Sarah, still shaken from revealing Chloe's plot, clutched Emma's hand, her floral dress swaying in the breeze. You were incredible in there, Em, Olivia said, her voice thick. I've never seen anyone so strong. Emma managed a small smile, her auburn hair falling from its chignon, a braid dangling like a broken promise. I don't feel strong, she admitted, her green eyes tracing the horizon. I feel lost. But I couldn't marry him, not after this. Her voice wavered, the memory of Chloe's DMs to Mia Rodriguez. Ryan's ex still raw. He's wavering. Show up tonight. Emma won't know. The photos of Ryan and Mia at a bar, his hand on her arm, haunted her. Chloe's scheme to sabotage the wedding had shattered her trust, and Ryan's silence about the meeting had cracked the foundation of their love. Sarah squeezed her hand. You did the right thing. I'm so sorry I didn't tell you sooner. I saw Chloe's messages days ago, but I didn't want to ruin your day. Her brown eyes were wet, guilt etching her young face. You saved me, Sarah, Emma said, pulling her into a hug. You gave me the truth. That's more than Chloe did. The anonymous email Sarah had sent. Look at Chloe's Instagram DMs. You deserve the truth, had been a lifeline even if it had broken her heart. Olivia handed Emma a bottle of wine pilfered from the Barnes bar. To hell with Chloe, she said, her voice fierce. And Mia. Let's drink to you, Em. To new beginnings. She uncorked the bottle and they passed it around, the tart red wine warming Emma's throat. The field stretched before them, a canvas of possibility, and for the first time since the DMs, Emma felt a flicker of hope. Behind them, the barn was emptying. Guests murmuring as they left. Their phones already buzzing with the scandal. #EmmaWeddingDrama trended on X. Clips of Emma's altar speech. I deserve trust. I deserve truth spreading like wildfire. Emma didn't know it yet, but her courage was going viral. Strangers across the platform praising her strength. Others speculating about the someone close who'd betrayed her. The world was watching, but Emma, in the grass with her best friend and cousin, felt only the quiet of the moment. Lila Thompson, Emma's mother, approached, her gray-streaked auburn hair catching the dusk's light. She carried Emma's heels, her face soft with pride. Sweetheart, I've got a car ready to take you to Olivia's place in Brooklyn, she said. You don't have to stay here tonight. Lila's own past, a fiancé's betrayal years ago, gave her words weight. She'd raised Emma alone, teaching her resilience, and now she saw that strength blooming. Emma nodded, her throat tight. Thanks, Mom. I just need to get away from this place. The barn, once her dream venue, now felt like a graveyard of promises. She glanced back, catching a glimpse of Ryan through the barn's open doors, his navy suit disheveled, his face pale as he spoke to Ethan Parker, his best man. He looked broken, but Emma couldn't let herself care, not yet. Let's go, she said, taking one last sip of wine. She handed the bottle to Olivia and walked toward the car, her gown trailing through the grass, a ghost of the bride she'd been hours ago. In Brooklyn, Emma settled into Olivia's cozy apartment, a fifth-floor walk-up with exposed brick walls and a view of the city's twinkling lights. The space smelled of coffee and lavender, a stark contrast to the barn's cedar and wildflowers. Emma changed into sweatpants and a t-shirt, her gown folded in a bag, its stains a reminder of her choice. Olivia and Sarah stayed close, ordering pizza and playing Taylor Swift's Folklore to fill the silence. Emma scrolled through her phone, ignoring the flood of texts from friends and family, her eyes lingering on Ryan's name. Please, Em, let me explain. I love you. She didn't reply. The pain was too fresh. Chloe's betrayal a deeper cut than Ryan's omission. Chloe, who'd planned her bridal shower, who'd laughed with her over cake samples, had schemed with Mia to unravel her happiness. The thought made Emma's chest ache. A betrayal not just of love but of sisterhood. A week later, Chloe appeared at Olivia's door, her blonde hair loose, her eyes red-rimmed. Emma, in leggings and a hoodie, froze when she saw her. What are you doing here? She asked, her voice cold. Chloe clutched a coffee cup, her hands trembling. Emma, I need to talk to you. Please. Her usual confidence was gone, replaced by a raw vulnerability that caught Emma off guard. Olivia, leaning against the kitchen counter, crossed her arms, her eyes narrow. Give me one reason I should listen, Emma said, her voice steady despite the storm inside her. She stepped onto the apartment's small balcony, the city's hum a backdrop. Chloe followed, shutting the glass door behind her. I was wrong, Chloe began, her voice breaking. I was so wrong, Emma. I let my own pain twist everything. My engagement, when it ended, it broke something in me. You and Ryan, you were so perfect, so happy, and it felt like a mirror showing me everything I'd lost. She wiped her eyes, her mascara smudging. I thought you were too good for him, that you'd change him, take him away from me. Mia was a mistake. I thought she'd remind him of who he was, but I was just hurting you. Emma's heart clenched, anger mixing with pity. She remembered Chloe's warmth, her late-night calls about table settings, her hugs during dress fittings. But those memories were tainted now, poisoned by the DMs. You didn't just hurt me, Emma said, her voice low. You broke my trust. You made me doubt Ryan, doubt myself. Why didn't you talk to me? Chloe looked down, her hands twisting the coffee cup. I was jealous, and I was wrong about Ryan. He loves you, Emma. He's a mess without you. She paused, her eyes meeting Emma's. I'm seeing a therapist now, trying to figure out why I did this. I've cut Mia off. I'm so sorry. Emma studied her, searching for the sister she'd thought Chloe was. I hear you, she said finally. But I can't forgive you yet. Maybe someday, but not now. She turned away, the city lights blurring through her tears. Chloe nodded, her shoulders slumping, and left without another word. 2 weeks later, Ryan showed up at the coffee shop where Emma worked part-time, a small cafe in Williamsburg with mismatched chairs and chalkboard menus. She'd taken the job to keep busy, to rebuild herself after the wedding's collapse. Ryan stood by the counter, his brown eyes tired, his navy sweater rumpled. Can we talk? He asked, his voice soft. Emma hesitated, wiping her hands on her apron. The cafe was quiet, the afternoon lull leaving only a few customers. She nodded, leading him to a corner table. You've got 5 minutes, she said, her tone guarded. Ryan sat, his hands clasped. I messed up, Emma. I should have told you about the bar. Chloe texted me, said she needed to talk about the wedding. I didn't know Mia would be there. He leaned forward, his voice urgent. She tried to pull me back, talking about old times, but I told her I'm with you. I love you. I left after 1 drink, I swear. Emma's heart wavered, memories of their love flooding back. Late nights reading poetry, his proposal under cherry blossoms. But the photos, his silence, lingered. Why didn't you tell me? She asked, her voice breaking. You let me walk into our wedding blind. Ryan's eyes glistened. I was scared. I thought it was nothing, just a stupid moment. I didn't want to hurt you before our day. He reached for her hand, but she pulled back. Emma, I'm not wavering. I want you, only you. Let's start over. No wedding, no pressure. Just us. Emma looked away, her throat tight. She loved him, but love wasn't enough without trust. I need time, Ryan, she said. I don't know if I can trust you again. Not yet. He nodded, his face crumpling, and left, the bell above the door jingling softly. A month later, Emma's new life was taking shape. She'd moved into a tiny studio in Brooklyn, her walls decorated with thrift store art, her days filled with work and rediscovery. She'd started journaling, pouring her pain onto pages, and joined a yoga class with Olivia, finding strength in small moments. But the past wasn't done with her. One evening, as Emma was closing the cafe, Mia Rodriguez appeared, her dark hair sleek, her influencer persona radiating confidence. She wore a leather jacket and heels, her eyes sharp. Emma, we need to talk, she said, her voice clipped. Emma's stomach twisted, anger flaring. What do you want, Mia? She locked the cafe door, the streetlights casting shadows on the pavement. Olivia, waiting outside, stepped closer, her eyes wary. Mia crossed her arms. I came to see Ryan, but I heard you called off the wedding. I need to know where we stand. Her tone was defiant, but her eyes betrayed a flicker of desperation. Chloe said he still loves me. I need to hear it from him. Emma's laugh was sharp, bitter. You think you can just show up and claim him? Chloe used you, Mia. She played us both. Ryan's not yours, he never was. She stepped closer, her voice steady. He told you at the bar he's with me. You need to let him go. Mia's bravado cracked, tears welling. I loved him first, she whispered. You took him from me. Emma softened, seeing Mia's pain. I didn't take him, Mia. He chose me. And now I'm choosing myself. You should too. She turned, walking away, Olivia at her side. Mia stood frozen, her heels clicking as she finally left, her figure fading into the night. The confrontation hit X, a bystander's video of Emma's calm strength going viral with #BrooklynShowdown. Comments poured in. Queen Emma. She handled that like a boss. Emma saw the posts, a small smile breaking through her pain. The world was rooting for her. 6 months later, Emma stood in the wildflower fields again, the barn looming in the distance. She'd come to say goodbye, to release the ghosts of that day. Her hair was shorter now, a bob that framed her face, her jeans and sweater a far cry from the gown. The fields were quieter in winter, the flowers gone, but their memory lingered, a symbol of resilience. Ethan Parker had texted her, suggesting coffee. They met at a cafe near the barn, his easy smile a comfort. You look happy, Emma, he said, his eyes warm. I'm proud of you. He's trying to move on. Chloe's still in therapy. But you're shining. Emma smiled, stirring her latte. I'm getting there. I needed to come back here to let it go. They talked for hours, a spark of something new flickering. But Emma wasn't ready for more than friendship. She was enough for now. Back in Brooklyn, Emma's studio was her sanctuary. She'd started a blog, sharing her story of betrayal and healing, her words resonating with thousands online. #Emmarising trended, her courage inspiring others. She looked out her window, the city alive with possibility. The tears that had stained her gown were gone, replaced by a strength she'd forged herself. The barn, the betrayal, the broken vows, they were her past. Her future was hers to write. Subscribe channel. The wildflower field stretched like a patchwork quilt under the fading July sun, their purples, golds, and whites swaying in the upstate New York breeze. Emma Thompson stood barefoot in the grass, her ivory wedding gown clinging to her like a ghost, its lace hem stained with tears and earth. The weight of her decision, to halt her wedding to Ryan Carter before a stunned crowd, pressed against her chest, a heavy ache that mingled with a fragile spark of freedom. She'd walked away from the rustic barn's fairy lights, from Chloe's betrayal, from Ryan's half-truths, choosing herself over a fractured dream. The air smelled of lavender and dust, the horizon glowing with the promise of dusk. Olivia Bennett, her maid of honor, stood to her left, her dark curls loose and tangled, her navy bridesmaid dress rumpled from the chaos. Sarah Davis, Emma's cousin, clung to her right hand, her floral dress swaying, her brown eyes still wide with the guilt of her secret. You were incredible in there, Em, Olivia said, her voice thick with admiration. Walking away like that? I've never seen anyone so strong. Emma's lips curved into a shaky smile, her auburn hair slipping from its chignon, a single braid dangling like a broken thread. I don't feel strong, she admitted, her green eyes tracing the wildflowers. I feel like I'm falling apart, but I couldn't marry him. Not after this. Her voice cracked, the memory of Chloe's Instagram DMs to Mia Rodriguez, Ryan's ex, cutting fresh wounds. He's wavering. Show up tonight. Emma won't know. The photos of Ryan and Mia at a bar last week, his hand on her arm, her smile too close, haunted her. Chloe, her trusted sister-in-law-to-be, had schemed to unravel her happiness, and Ryan's silence about the meeting had shattered her trust. Sarah squeezed her hand, her voice trembling. I'm so sorry I didn't tell you sooner, Emma. I saw Chloe's messages days ago at the rehearsal dinner, but I was scared to ruin your day. Tears spilled down her cheeks, her young face etched with regret. She'd sent the anonymous email. Look at Chloe's Instagram DMs. You deserve the truth. That had exposed the betrayal, but the weight of her delay lingered. You saved me, Sarah, Emma said, pulling her into a tight hug. Sarah's frame shook, and Emma felt a surge of gratitude. You gave me the truth. That's more than Chloe or Ryan did. She released Sarah, her eyes stinging, and looked out at the fields. The barn loomed behind them, its wooden beams and twinkling lights a cruel reminder of the fairy tale she'd lost. Olivia handed Emma a bottle of Pinot Noir swiped from the barn's bar, its label smudged from her grip. To hell with Chloe, she said, her hazel eyes fierce. And Mia. Let's drink to you, Em. To starting over. She uncorked the bottle with a pop, the sound sharp in the quiet dusk. Emma took a long sip, the wine tart and warm, grounding her in the moment. Sarah took a tentative sip, her lips curling into a small smile. They sat in the grass, the three of them, passing the bottle under the deepening sky. The field stretched endlessly, their colors softening as stars began to prick the horizon. Emma leaned back, her gown fanning out, and let the earth hold her weight. I thought this was my forever, she said softly, her voice barely above a whisper. Ryan, the barn, all of it. How did it fall apart so fast? Olivia rested a hand on her shoulder. It didn't fall apart because of you, Em. Chloe's messed up and Ryan, he should have been honest. But you? You're the strongest person I know. You walked away from a lie. That's power. Emma's throat tightened, tears threatening again. She thought of the altar, the moment she'd taken the microphone, her voice trembling but resolute. I deserve trust. I deserve truth. The gasps from the crowd, Ryan's crumpled face, Chloe's fleeing figure. It replayed in her mind like a movie she couldn't pause. She'd chosen herself, but the cost was a hollow ache where her dreams had been. Lila Thompson, Emma's mother, approached, her gray-streaked auburn hair catching the dusk's glow. She carried Emma's heels, her face a mix of pride and sorrow. "Sweetheart," she said, kneeling beside her, "I've got a car ready to take you to Olivia's in Brooklyn. You don't have to stay here tonight." Lila's own past, a fiancé's betrayal decades ago, gave her words depth. She'd raised Emma alone, teaching her to stand tall, and now she saw that strength shining through. Emma nodded, wiping her eyes. "Thanks, Mom. I need to get out of here." The barn, with its cedar scent and fairy lights, felt like a tomb now, burying the future she'd planned. She glanced back, catching Ryan's silhouette through the barn's open doors. He stood with Ethan Parker, his best man, his navy suit disheveled, his hands gesturing wildly. He looked broken, but Emma couldn't let herself care, not yet. "Let's go," she said, standing, her gown brushing the grass. She handed the wine bottle to Olivia, who tucked it under her arm, and followed Lila to the car, Sarah close behind. Guests were leaving, their cars kicking up dust on the gravel road, their whispers carrying on the breeze. Emma didn't know it, but her altar speech was already trending on X, clips shared with #EmmaWeddingDrama, strangers praising her courage. She walked away like a queen. Who betrayed her? Spill the tea. The world was watching, but Emma, in the car's back seat, felt only the quiet of her choice. In Brooklyn, Emma settled into Olivia's fifth-floor walk-up, a cozy apartment with exposed brick walls, mismatched furniture, and a view of the city's twinkling skyline. The air smelled of coffee and lavender, a stark contrast to the barn's wildflowers. Emma changed into sweatpants and a faded NYU t-shirt, her wedding gown folded into a garment bag, its tear-stained hem hidden. Olivia ordered pizza, pepperoni, Emma's favorite, and played Taylor Swift's Folklore, the soft chords filling the space. Sarah, staying the night, curled up on the couch, her phone buzzing with notifications. Emma sat by the window, her knees pulled to her chest, staring at the city lights. Her phone was a minefield of texts, friends checking in, family offering support, Ryan's name glowing with unread messages. "Please, Em, let me explain. I love you." She ignored them, her heart too raw. Chloe's betrayal cut deepest, a wound beyond Ryan's omission. Chloe had planned her bridal shower, laughed over cake samples, hugged her during dress fittings. Every moment now felt like a lie, a carefully crafted facade to mask her jealousy. "I keep seeing her smile," Emma said, breaking the silence. "Chloe acting like my sister, all while texting Mia behind my back. How did I not see it?" Her voice trembled and she hugged her knees tighter. Olivia sat beside her, a slice of pizza in hand. "Because you're good, Em. You see the best in people. Chloe's the one who's broken, not you." She paused, her eyes softening. "I saw her acting weird at the rehearsal dinner, sneaking off to text. I should have said something." Sarah looked up from the couch, her face pale. "I should have too. I saw her phone open those messages to Mia. I thought maybe I misread, but I should have told you right away." Her voice cracked and she buried her face in a pillow. Emma crossed the room, sitting beside Sarah. "You did tell me, Sarah. You gave me the truth when it mattered. I'm not mad at you." She hugged her cousin, feeling the weight of their shared pain. The pizza sat untouched, the music a soft backdrop to their quiet grief. A week later, Emma was brewing coffee in Olivia's kitchen when the intercom buzzed. Olivia answered, her voice sharp. "Who is it?" Chloe's name crackled through and Emma's stomach dropped. Olivia looked at her, eyebrows raised. "You want me to send her away?" Emma hesitated, her heart a tug of war between anger and curiosity. "Let her up," she said finally, her voice steady. "I need to hear what she has to say." Chloe appeared at the door, her blonde hair loose, her eyes red-rimmed, her usual polished look replaced by a worn sweater and jeans. She clutched a coffee cup, her hands trembling. "Emma, I need to talk to you," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Please." Emma crossed her arms, her hoodie soft against her skin. "What do you want, Chloe?" She stepped onto the apartment's small balcony, the city's hum a distant pulse. Olivia stayed inside, her eyes narrow, but gave Emma a nod of support. Chloe followed, shutting the glass door behind her. "I was wrong," Chloe began, her voice breaking. "I was so wrong, Emma. I let my own pain twist everything." She paused, wiping her eyes, her mascara smudging. When my engagement ended, Mark cheated on me, left me humiliated. I stopped believing in love. You and Ryan, you were so perfect, so happy, and it felt like a mirror showing me everything I'd lost. I hated how easy it was for you." Her voice cracked, and she looked down at the coffee cup, its lid dented from her grip. Emma's chest tightened, anger mixing with a reluctant pity. She remembered Chloe's warmth, her late-night calls about table settings, her laughter during dress fittings. Those memories were poison now, but Chloe's pain was real, a raw wound laid bare. "So you decided to ruin my life?" Emma asked, her voice low. "You thought inviting Mia, setting Ryan up, would fix your hurt?" Chloe shook her head, tears falling. "I thought I was saving Ryan. I thought you were too good for him, that you'd change him, take him away from me. Mia was a mistake. I met her a month ago, fed her lies about Ryan still loving her. I thought if she showed up, he'd see what he was missing. But I was wrong. He loves you, Emma. He's a mess without you." Emma's heart clenched, memories of Ryan's smile, his proposal under cherry blossoms, his whispers of forever, clashing with the bar photos. "You don't get to decide what's right for Ryan," she said, her voice steady. "And you don't get to destroy me because of your pain. I trusted you, Chloe. I called you my sister." The word stung and she turned away, the city lights blurring through her tears. Chloe stepped closer, her voice desperate. "I'm seeing a therapist now, trying to understand why I did this. I've cut Mia off, blocked her everywhere. I'm so sorry, Emma. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I needed you to know I'm trying to change." Emma studied her, searching for the Chloe she'd loved. The apology was raw, but the wound was too fresh. "I hear you," she said finally. "But I can't forgive you yet. Maybe someday, but not now." She opened the balcony door, signaling the end. Chloe nodded, her shoulders slumping, and left, her footsteps echoing down the hall. 2 weeks later, Emma was wiping down tables at a Williamsburg cafe, a part-time job she'd taken to keep busy. The cafe was a cozy haven of mismatched chairs, chalkboard menus, and the scent of roasted coffee. She'd thrown herself into work, needing routine to anchor her healing. Her phone buzzed with notifications, her blog, started to share her story, was gaining traction. Readers resonating with her raw posts about betrayal and resilience. #Emmarizing was trending, a quiet victory. Ryan appeared at the counter, his brown eyes tired, his navy sweater rumpled. Can we talk?" he asked, his voice soft. The cafe was quiet, the afternoon lull leaving only a few customers. Emma hesitated, her apron smeared with coffee grounds, then nodded, leading him to a corner table. "You've got 5 minutes," she said, her tone guarded. She sat, her hands clasped, bracing for the pain of seeing him. Ryan leaned forward, his hands restless. "I messed up, Emma. I should have told you about the bar. Chloe texted me, said she needed to talk about the wedding. I didn't know Mia would be there." His voice was urgent, his eyes pleading. "She tried to pull me back, talking about college, our old life. I had 1 drink, and I told her I'm with you. I love you. I left, I swear." Emma's heart wavered, memories flooding back. Late nights reading poetry, his proposal under cherry blossoms, his laugh in their shared apartment. But the photos, his silence, lingered. "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked, her voice breaking. "You let me walk into our wedding blind, Ryan. You let me find out from Chloe's phone." Ryan's eyes glistened, his voice low. "I was scared. I thought it was nothing, just a stupid moment. I didn't want to hurt you before our day." He reached for her hand, but she pulled back. "Emma, I'm not wavering. I want you, only you. Let's start over. No wedding, no pressure. Just us." Emma looked away, the cafe's warmth a stark contrast to the cold in her chest. She loved him, but love wasn't enough without trust. "I need time, Ryan," she said. "I don't know if I can trust you again. Not yet." He nodded, his face crumpling, and left, the bell above the door jingling softly. A month later, Emma was closing the cafe, the streetlights casting shadows on the Brooklyn pavement. Mia Rodriguez appeared, her dark hair sleek, her leather jacket and heels radiating confidence. "Emma, we need to talk," she said, her voice clipped, her eyes sharp with defiance. Emma's stomach twisted, anger flaring. "What do you want, Mia?" She locked the cafe door, Olivia waiting nearby, her eyes wary. The street was quiet, The city's pulse a low hum. Mia crossed her arms. I came to see Ryan, but I heard you called off the wedding. I need to know where we stand. Her tone was bold, but her eyes betrayed desperation. Chloe said he still loves me. I need to hear it from him. Emma's laugh was sharp, cutting through the night. You think you can just show up and claim him? Chloe used you, Mia. She played us both. Ryan told you at the bar he's with me. You need to let him go. She stepped closer, her voice steady, her strength a quiet fire. He's not yours. He never was. Mia's bravado cracked, tears welling. I loved him first, she whispered. You took him from me. Her voice broke, revealing a woman haunted by loss, her influencer facade crumbling. Emma softened, seeing Mia's pain. I didn't take him, Mia. He chose me. And now I'm choosing myself. You should too. She turned, walking away, Olivia at her side. Mia stood frozen, her heels clicking as she finally left, her figure fading into the night. A bystander's video of the confrontation hit X, going viral with hashtag Brooklyn Showdown, comments praising Emma's grace. She's a queen. Handled that with class. 6 months later, Emma stood in the wildflower fields again. The barn a silent silhouette. Winter had stripped the flowers, but their memory lingered, a symbol of resilience. Her hair was a short bob now, framing her face, her jeans and sweater a far cry from the gown. She'd returned to say goodbye, to release the ghosts of that day. Ethan Parker had texted, suggesting coffee. They met at a cafe near the barn, his easy smile a comfort. You look happy, Emma, he said, his eyes warm. I'm proud of you. Ryan's trying to move on and Chloe's still in therapy. But you're shining. They talked for hours, a spark flickering. But Emma wasn't ready for more than friendship. She was enough. Back in her Brooklyn studio, Emma's walls were lined with thrift store art. Her blog a growing platform for stories of healing. Hashtag Emmarizing trended. Her words inspiring thousands. She looked out her window, the city alive with possibility. The tears that had stained her gown were gone, replaced by a strength she'd forged herself. The barn, the betrayal, the broken vows, they were her past. Her future was hers to write. Thanks for watching Full Story.